Bonjour et bienvenue sur le plateau de ASYS TV à l'occasion du 8e sommet de l'Africa Student and Youth Summit. Donc je suis ravi d'accueillir ici parmi nous Thione Niang, cofondeur de AKON Lighting Africa, qui est là, qui est intervenu à l'occasion de la première plénière à l'occasion de ce sommet qui se passe ici au sein de la Cité internationale de Rabat. Bienvenue, welcome.
Thank you.
So it's a pleasure to receive you. We learn a lot about AKON Lighting Africa.
Thank you.
It's a big honor to receive you here in Morocco, in Rabat. And I would like to know more about AKON Lighting Africa.
Well, AKON Lighting Africa is a project in response to some of the issues that we're dealing with in energy. From 3 African sons, AKON, myself, and Samba Bacheli from Mali, we thought that it was necessary to come up with some concrete solutions that can help elevate the problems that our people have in the rural areas, especially utilizing one of our most important resources that we have in the continent, which is the sun. 365 days in a year we have the sun, and unfortunately it is unutilized. If you look at some countries like Morocco, Europe, and etc., many countries in Europe, they don't have as much sun during the winter time. In Africa, 365 days in the year, in my country, Senegal, you have sun. But we thought that instead of going through the grid systems and etc., we can focus on solar energy and bring in some solutions to populations that are off-grid, they are not on the grid systems. Until today, 600 million Africans are in the dark. And then, the project has been very successful. This past, 5 years we've been working on it. It's in 18 countries today.
Nice. What do you think about the thematic chosen by the Africa Youth Student Summit, the future of Africa? Do you think that the youth has a predisposition to change the world, actually?
Well, I think it's great to create a platform for young people, and especially in Africa, to talk about the future, which is themselves, to tackle some of the issues that's waiting for them, that's waiting for answers from them, not from anywhere else. There is so much going on in the continent right now, and there's so many projections that's happening in the upcoming years of the dynamics of growth, but then the inequality that's happening between our countries, but also our populations, where the have-nots, and then the least of us, and then those who have so much, they have to close the gap. And some of these young people, or most of them that you have here in Morocco today, that are coming from sub-Saharan Africa and etc., will have to think about concrete solutions for these issues. When it comes to energy, agriculture, transportation, education, and etc., health, all those issues are waiting for them. So I'm pleased to see that there is a platform for them to convene together, but also to connect, to create a network, because that's what happened back in the 60s, when the 50s, 40s, late 50s, when our founding fathers went to France to study, before they came back home, the Senghors, the Nkrumahs, the Patrice Lumumbas, and etc. They were able to reconnect, to build a network that helped them to create grassroots organizations when they came home, political parties and etc., to tackle the most pressing issues at that time, which was liberation and independence. Now today, one of the most pressing issues that we face today is agriculture, energy, jobs. How we can make sure that young people have jobs, decent jobs, to create wealth for them so they don't take the ocean, the Mediterranean, trying to come to Europe and etc. And then these platforms help to convene those things and push the reflections a little further for that, to find solutions.
Do you think, Thione, that actually the government are aware about the impact of the climate change also and the economy in Africa, and did they hurt the youth people in Africa?
Well, there is a big disconnect between most of our governments today and what's happening with the young people, because majority of young Africans are, 80% of the population today, a little more than that, are under 30 years old. It's the majority. But if you look at the government level, 90% of African leaders today are over 50, 60 years old. So there's a disconnect. They cannot communicate to them. They cannot talk to them. They cannot project for them from their future. They don't even understand how to use emails. Most of them, you can't communicate with this young generation because they are technology generation. They are directly with their phones. They have access to everything. Before, in our homes, We used to wait. I remember growing up in Senegal back in the late 90s. We had only one national TV. To rate the news, you have to get the news at 8 p.m., right? After 8 p.m., 11 p.m., there's no TV in the country. You have to wait till the next day at 8 p.m. again. Today, the same information that the young person has in Harvard University in Boston or here in Morocco, the young person, Mamadou or Fatou, in the rural sides of Senegal or Mauritania has the same access in the same minute. D'accord? So those young people now, you have governments who are leading them, but who don't have no connection whatsoever with them. They don't even understand what their wishes are for. You see some young people who want, some ministers of youth who are over 60 years old, but they want to plan for the future for this young generation. It doesn't work. The good thing is when you have young people involved in the government, you have energy, you have creation, you have innovation. They will try. They have the energy. They can move forward furthermore, and they can reflect for the future. But and then you have to put them at the center of what's going to happen for the future for them. Only them can plan the future for themselves. You cannot plan it for them. What government should do is create the environment, the platform for them to be able to exercise to freely, like the Americans are doing with Silicon Valley. You're creating an opportunity for young people to create and finding solutions for the pressing issues of the country. But if you don't do it, there is a disconnect for that.
My last question, Thione Niang, what is your recommendation to bring the light to those different generations and also the political and the government to the youth?
What do you mean bring the light?
Bring the light, I mean you're talking about digital transformation, about bringing technology and everything. What is the things that help the youth people?
Well, it's education, it's preparation. That's what I'm talking about always. It's sharing of knowledge. That's why I write. This is a book that I wrote. My latest book is called...
This is the book, Demain tu gouvernes le monde.
Exactly, and I'm talking directly to young people. Yeah, it's talking to young... They will. Everybody, when they hear about... Les gens, ils pensent que c'est ambitieux, mais c'est ça la vérité. Les jeunes, ils vont diriger le monde. They will lead the world. Now, le problème est que, est-ce qu'ils sont prêts ou pas? C'est ça la question. Et là, j'ai développé cette réflexion où je pense que tous les jeunes qui veulent diriger le monde, qui veulent participer demain, ils veulent être des docteurs, c'est des dirigeants, même dans ta famille, c'est des dirigeants qui vont diriger, les politiciens, les économistes et tout ça. Everyone is going to be somewhat a leader. Now, what do you need to be a leader? I think, in my own humble opinion, I share some reflections on what I think they can be doing to be ready for that. And to come back to your question, how those young people should be ready in that limelight, it's about preparing them. Oprah Winfrey said something that's very interesting. She said that, success is nothing but when preparation meets opportunity meets preparation. If you don't prepare them, sooner or later there's going to have opportunities to, but then they can make it. But if you prepare them, educate these young people, give them the tools that they need, have access to education, they fed well, there's good, health system in the country for them, there's good roads and infrastructure and etc. Then they are in an environment where they can think and create, then you have a successful country ahead of you.
Thione Niang, thank you very much. We close with Demain tu gouvernes le monde. Donc c'était Thione Niang, cofondateur de AKON Lighting in Africa, ici présent à la 8e édition du sommet Africa Student and Youth Summit. Thank you very much.
Thank you for having me.